Don't
Don't
move your
sweat that
computer.
hair, girl. Don't sweat
Don't
that
sweat it
hair
out.
I'm sweating this energy right now. Like,
Being submissive is going to the hair salon, getting your hair all nice, coming home, and your husband says, "Get in the shower."
well, yeah, that's
And
part of it.
Well,
that's
I'm gonna put on my shower cap.
no shower cap because I'm gonna be pulling on it.
Okay, then you're giving me money so I can go back to the salon tomorrow.
Hey, who's
Right.
submissive
Right?
here? You or him? Demanding. There's no demand in submissive, or
That's
is
why I
there?
don't subscribe.
Submit, woman.
No, you didn't.
Never. Never.
Never, huh? Hi, everyone.
Welcome to Shut Up and Thrive, the podcast that will inspire you to live your best life.
3 best friends who have been growing, motivating, and inspiring each other.
I'm Vanilla. I bring the fun.
And this is Claudia, the passionate one.
And your girl Nair, sprinkling in the creativity.
When you listen to Shut Up and Thrive, it will remind you of your chats with your own BFFs.
Join in every week as we discuss all the things that make you want to shut up and thrive.
So, are you ready?
Let's get into the conversation.
Ooh, ooh.
But yes, welcome to our listeners as well to another podcast episode
Of
And
Shut
to-
Up and Thrive.
Yeah, today we will be chatting on a topic that can be a little bit controversial if we look at the meaning of the word as the literal meaning of the word. But we're going to discuss a little bit about it and see how we all think about or feel about being a submissive wife.
I say, ugh.
Just the
She says,
word
woo, woo.
submissive.
And Claudia's like, ooh.
I was like, "Ugh." Exactly. I'm sure Claudia's "ooh" is coming from the literal meaning of submissive,
Submit.
right?
Yeah, that word just makes you
Submit.
go, ooh.
And how about you, Naya? Why never?
I'm not, I was just playing around.
Okay.
I'll let you guys know how I feel about it when we
Yeah.
get there.
So cool. So, anyways, the literal meaning of submissive, like we all know, is anyone or someone who's ready to conform to someone else's will, right? Ready to
Mhm.
conform to the authority or will of others.
Okay.
Someone who's meekly obedient or
Okay.
passive. So literally it has that negative
Connotation.
connotation to the word, but today specifically we want to chat about submissive wife. So we have the negative meaning of it, right? And automatic when you I personally when I would before I went a little bit deeper in the topic of being a submissive wife was like, what? That means I have no power, I have no say, I do what you want. I will never ever ever be a
Yeah.
submissive wife.
And now,
Now, like I said, for a little bit more listening and reading, I see that we can actually be someone who wants to be a submissive wife or can be a submissive wife. It all depends on the type of relationship you're having with your husband or the type of relationship you want to have with your husband. So, like anything, there's goods and bads about it. Yeah. So, submissive wife. What does it mean to be a submissive wife? Who wants to go first? What do you think it means to be a submissive wife? Okay, we don't think nothing. We don't feel nothing. Submissive wife.
you said it. You
even
said
if you-
it.
Yeah, but your personal. You see, okay, so
It's-
you agree that it's you doing whatever your husband asks you to do?
No, I wouldn't go that specific with it. Just to
Okay.
keep it broad and more general. It's like you said, like to me, it's like the man is the leader or the husband. The husband is the leader and I am following him. He's the one that makes the decisions. He's the one that's telling me what to do.
Yeah, so I think you're looking at it as
I'm trying
basically
to
lack
say-
of power for one person.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain it, what it means to me without inserting my own opinion or thoughts and how I feel about it. Like I'm just trying to
yes.
explain from my perspective when someone says, like when you just said submissive wife, what does that mean to you? It means that the husband is the leader, the husband is making the decisions. Now I can go deeper into that, but I think that'll come later. But yeah, basically
Yeah.
he's the leader and I'm following his lead.
How about you, C?
Is she
Don't
having
hide,
technical
girl. Don't
is
hide.
she having
We're
technical
going to talk
difficulties?
about this.
She can't even hear us.
Oh, nice t-shirt.
I know, right?
All right, so back to you, Nair. So, okay, I get it. How you think, like it basically means like if you're a submissive wife, that means you have no power, no control.
I didn't say again, I don't want to insert
Yeah, without
my
inserting your thoughts about
it
it.
just means that he's the one making the decisions. Doesn't mean that me as the submissive wife am not influencing that decision, right? But
Mm,
ultimately, the direction in which our family moves is up to him.
okay.
He's the one dictating how our marriage, our family works. Again,
Okay.
that's my idea of being a submissive wife. I want to try and keep it more of a neutral or like a positive outlook because there, like you said, a lot of negative thoughts and ideas can come out of the word submissive. And I'm trying to look at it from a neutral, non biased way so
Mhm.
that I can not be judgmental towards being submissive because,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah. Let's
So
hear
you
Claudia
also, yeah, go ahead, C. We're keeping it simple as far as when you hear being a submissive wife, what does it mean?
to you.
Not going deep like what you really think, but right now just like
What is a submissive wife? If
to
someone says,
you.
oh, that lady right there is a submissive wife.
Oh, I would think automatically that the husband is the breadwinner and the rule, like everything is what he says she does
Mhm.
automatically. It's the husband who leads the home and everything outside of the home.
Okay.
Okay. She's like
Mhm.
outside and in the home. All right.
Yeah, because that's a good distinction
Yeah.
there because some relationships the woman could lead everything in the homes. I'm just saying like they take care of when the money comes in, they're the ones that manage the money, they're the ones that, manage the children, make sure the home is in order and the man is taking care of stuff outside of the home.
Mhm.
Does being submissive as a wife mean that you're not in charge of the home, that even though you may do things in the home, he's the one that's saying, well, this needs to be done, that needs to be done.
Yeah, almost runs like full course on his opinion and how he wants it to be done.
All right.
Interesting.
All right. Yeah, it is interesting. Like, because when I think of like, if I was like, you're going to be a submissive wife, what are you? I automatically would think of, oh, he walks in and he says, take a shower. I want some. Then, yeah, I'm going to take a shower because you want some. You know what I mean? Oh, I want to eat chicken wings. Oh, I'm going to make you some chicken wings. So it basically just come to when I used to think about it before was like, you just obey
Obey.
in a way, or your desires don't really come before his. Not meaning that you didn't have any desires, but his came before you, or even more to just taking care of your husband. All right, so let's go back to our topic of being a submissive wife or submitting into a relationship. Us being women and
Wait.
wives.
We're just talking about marriage. We're not talking about
No,
like boyfriend, girlfriend, because no, has to
no.
be a marriage
Mhm.
situation.
Oh, okay.
Because when
Yeah,
you're
because wife.
single, it doesn't
I'm gonna
apply
call
to
you a
being
wife.
single. You got to be
So,
married. You have
Okay,
to be
because
in union,
submissive wife. All right,
right?
not
Yeah.
submissive girlfriend or.
mhm.
No, that's
But what if you're together for 10 years and never got married? You're just technically
again,
officially married?
it depends if you consider each other husband and wife. It's not
Mhm.
about the paperwork or if you introduce people, this is my
Okay.
wife, then
So
you're in that
submission
union.
in relationship, but not necessarily like dating. We living together, plans together,
Wife.
until wife.
Husband and wife, like you guys have an agreement. I don't know, I don't care
Partners.
how that agreement
Partners.
was made, but you have that agreement that you're in this
Life
for life.
partners.
Yeah.
Okay. Life partners because can't say husband and wife. You know what I mean? Nowadays you can't say stuff like that.
You sure can.
Husband and wife? What if it's
Yes.
two wives or
Then
two
you say
husbands?
then you say
Partners.
how they want you to say it. If they want you to say because
I think it's
if
life
I want to
partners
say this is my husband, I'm gonna say this is my husband.
because you have a husband. But what if I had a wife?
Okay,
Uh,
then I would say your
My wife.
partner until I hear how you called her your
Alright, let's
partner.
not get out of topic because
Right? Like, come back.
let's go back to talking about a
Reel it in.
submissive wife. So what gave us the idea of talking about this anyway?
Now you hear.
Well, I came across the idea, and honestly, the idea of being submissive seems really traditional to me. So it was interesting for me to hear people talking about it in this day and age. That's why I thought it would be interesting to talk about, because is that something that happens right now? Do people, society, us believe in the idea of being a submissive wife? Do we see any positives from it? Negatives? Like, maybe now we can start to get a little bit deeper into what we think and if we feel we are submissive wives.
Are we?
Good question. Are we?
Ask my husband that.
Oh
Don't ask
no.
me.
I'm asking
I'll be like,
you. I'm asking you. Are you a
I don't think your
submissive wife?
husband would agree that you're a submissive wife. Either one
You
of
might
you.
have a
So you're
different
gonna have to
idea.
tell us if
yes,
you agree.
definitely not agree that I was.
He what?
He wouldn't agree that I'm a
Oh,
submissive
okay.
wife.
Yeah, definitely would not.
Then I don't play one.
Yeah. So being a submissive wife to me means we're going to, like, you're in a relationship with your husband, of course, and we lean to not obeying your every need, but me having the desire to give and take, right? Like, I want to give you what you want, but I want to be able to take what I want.
Then
I
they're
think,
not submitting. If you're
why not?
taking because when you submit, you're basically saying that he knows your desires, he knows your needs. You guys have come to that understanding, and you're submitting to his leadership. Basically, you
But why are
are
we saying leadership?
because when you
that's the meaning of it.
submit, you're underneath. You're sub. What does sub mean? Under.
Yeah, but
Submission, right? You're under mission. What, and it's his mission. So I would hope that a submissive wife, her and her husband, have had discussions. They're all on the same page, and she has confidence that he will know what she needs and will always lead her to ensure that her desires are fulfilled.
exactly my point with it. To me, it leans more towards
So you're not taking,
giving,
he's
and
giving.
so you take what he gives you. Seriously, you're gonna
It's a
take what you get, but
contract.
you're gonna
It literally is a
take what
so it
you
contract.
leans
get.
to that. And I also think
Scary.
that, like, the submissive doesn't really come to play, like a submissive wife. It doesn't really come to play to me if you're not you're not putting out what you want or getting back a little bit of what you want as well.
Yeah, that's the point.
No, but Naya thinks, like, if you are a submissive wife, you're not doing anything that you want. You're not expecting anything back that
No,
you
I'm
need
not
or want.
saying that you're not doing anything that you want. I'm saying that you're giving him 100 control to be able to tell you what you want and what you need. Like, you have 100% confidence that he knows you. In a sense, he knows what you need more than you. To me, I feel like that's what a submissive person is.
But isn't submissive to please the person more than them?
To me, it's not to please the person. I think even though you're submissive, what is the husband called? If the wife is submissive, the dominant? I don't know.
You
But
said he's the leader, the boss,
or the leader.
ruler.
Right. So where was I going with this? So even though you're submissive, right? You both have the same goals, right? Remember that. You start with the same goals. You believe in the same things, but it's he who makes the day-to-day decisions. Like, you guys have already, in order for you to be in that union, that marriage, you have to, in a sense, already have that understanding of what it is you guys want out of life, but you leave all the decision making, all of the leadership, all of the guidance up to him. That's what being submissive is, and doing the things that he says, but he, if he is a good man, is doing it with the consideration of both of you, because he should be caring about you just as much
I
as
think
himself.
any man, if they want a submissive wife, that has to be part of, they need to understand that you can't just snap your fingers and have a submissive wife. You can have a submissive wife, but at the same time, you need to be able to, oh God, I'm going to sound worse, train her. Not train her, but like, what am I trying to say? Like,
the word for that.
no, almost like you're going to earn
Guide.
it from her.
You have
earn
to prove that you're worthy of her submission.
yes, that's very well put. So in a way, yeah, you have to almost earn her
Yeah,
submission.
I
So,
agree with that. Yeah.
okay.
Because I'm not submitting to you, but yeah, I'm the one that works. I'm the one that's bringing home the money. I'm the one that is taking care of the house, taking care of the kids. But when I come home, I have to cook your food when you've been sitting your ass at home all day long. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? There has to be certain guidelines already in place. Like you're the breadwinner. Like Claudia said, you're the one that's working and bringing the money home. You're the one that's
mhm.
paying the bills. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like you're
then
taking
I
all of
think
that.
even submission could come to even, let's say, a wife who goes to work, works hard, takes care of the house, takes care of the kids. That's the family. But when it comes to being a submissive
Submissive.
Submissive.
wife, basically in that relationship, their relationship, not necessarily her personal life. You know what I mean? Like, I think I could be a submissive wife, probably would enjoy being a submissive wife as long as I'm still got 100% of my free will to do my personal things. Like sometimes when you explain it seems like, no, the man decides everything. He says you can't do this, you can't do it. To me, that's not the submissive wife I'm kind of wanting to
You don't
think we
wanna
were
be a
going to talk
submissive
about.
wife.
No, no,
That's a
I do
modern submissive wife.
modern,
Because if you
whatever.
go
No,
back to, if you go back to
this is
old
the
days,
thing.
that's
If
not
we
how it
stick,
was.
yeah, but
Okay, but
because
what
again,
if okay,
we're sticking to the literal
question,
definition of
submission. Question.
submissive.
Okay, so
But no,
what if okay, you're a submissive wife. You're doing all your submissive wife duties, but yet you still do the stuff that you like. You go to Pilates, you hang out with your friends. You know what I'm saying? Like you still do all the things that you love.
go to work, you
But you
hustle for what
but
you
yeah,
want. Mhm.
but then it comes to a point that like some of the things that is happening calls for maybe you need to take on a second job now. And he says, in order for our family to continue to grow or move to this next level of these goals I want to achieve, you need to get a second job, which means now that you have to sacrifice some of your personal time. Would you then say, because I'm a submissive wife, I'm going to submit to his desires and his vision of our marriage and get that second job? Or would you say no, because I still need my independence? Then you're not being a submissive wife. That's what I
Correct.
mean by when I
Mhm.
say
Okay.
even though you're doing all the things you love to do,
Mhm.
and you're taking care of him, the family, and all that. But when it comes to, okay, now things are not going perfect and we need to make some real serious decisions, you're not, even though you may influence his decision, ultimately he's the one that's going to be like, no, I know you want this time for Pilates or whatever, but we don't have
You
the
Pilates.
Because I want to take Pilates. Can we take
yes,
Pilates,
right.
please?
But like, and he's like, we just don't have the money to send you to Pilates class. You have to stop going to Pilates. You got to do Pilates at
And you
home
got to pick a second
and
job.
you got to pick up a second job. You know what I mean? Like ultimately being submissive is you have to obey those
Yeah.
guidelines.
So almost like we're talking about the dominant partner in a relationship here. All
Yeah,
right.
he's the
So
Well,
yeah,
dominant
that's
and
we
what
you're the
happens
submissive.
when there's
that's
submission.
yeah, but it doesn't have to be. You can be a submissive wife, not necessarily every aspect of your relationship. I don't think submissive literally means it's all or nothing. You could be submissive when it comes to the wife, submissive wife, in terms of not the mother, not the cooker or the cleaner or whatever, the wife, right? The
So, okay,
lover, the
you
partner.
separate duties of a wife from duties of a mother, duties from a career
Yes.
woman. But don't you think all those things are related?
Yeah, because
Yes,
it's
you're
in the
his
same
wife, but you're also
relationship.
right. So then if a decision needs to be made about the children as a
Doesn't mean because you're the submissive wife, you're the one that has to take the kids to the
no, I
hospital
don't mean that. I just
or
mean that what he says is what happens.
goes.
Not to say that you don't influence, like you guys
Mhm.
can still have a discussion. Like you're still going to talk it out, but
And I think
ultimately
it's important
he's
that you
making the
do.
decision. Oh yeah, of course, to have a healthy
Correct.
relationship. Yeah, but ultimately just like in a job, like the CEO, which is in a submissive relationship, the CEO is the
It's the
husband.
dominant.
Yes, you as an employee or someone who works in the organization has a say, you have input because you're there, you provide value, but ultimately, because he's the leader, he's the dominant person in the relationship, his
Mhm.
decision is the final decision. And it might be the decision you helped him reach. it might, if you know, it might be the decision you were leaning towards, and then because you
Mhm.
guys had the discussion, now he picked your outcome. You know what I mean? Like, but ultimately it's left up to him to make that decision when you're in this type of relationship. Again, my perspective of it,
As a submissive wife, then he has the last say. Okay.
basically.
All right. And
So
as a submissive wife, do you think you know your husband, or you can get to know your husband so well that you can submit and at the same time take and get what you want? Because there was this one that live that I don't even know if you guys I was
yes, I know
able to go in and listen to it. So the lady explained how she is a submissive wife, and not because he's a demanding or a boss or the leader person, but because it's something that comes from within her, right? She
hmm
loves her
taking
love
care of him.
language is to give, is the love. So like she automatically a submissive wife because of the way she gives love, because of the way she loves. And her example was like, they're like, "But how are you submissive?" She's like, "Oh, I don't know. Like, I finish his sentences or think about what he's saying, or like he's unpacking his bag, washing his clothes." So she does what she does normally, and
Mhm.
which we all do normally from being
Right.
brought up. She does it with lots of love and knowing that, like, oh no, I'm not washing his clothes right now because he hasn't done anything for 2 weeks. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
She just does it. And to her, she considers herself a submissive, and I'm sorry, I don't know her name, a submissive wife, because it's something that comes easy or naturally, I mean,
Yeah, I
to
wouldn't
love
call
her
that
husband that
submission.
way.
I don't think that's submission.
Yeah, I mean, the whole topic was submissive
No, I know what you're
wife,
saying.
and then
I know what
because
you're saying, but she does it because, like you said, that's her love language. That's how she shows her love to him, not because that's, again, from how you're explaining it, it doesn't seem like that's something that like he's expecting of her. Not that he's expecting her, but that they've agreed to in their relationship. Like they didn't come to that understanding that this was something that she was going to do. She
Mhm.
just does it because that's her nature. That's what she loves to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the way she's explaining it, if she didn't do it, he wouldn't be like upset or anything. She might herself be upset, but I don't think that would be submissive. I don't think it's the same thing. Again, she didn't go deep into saying like how they manage their household, like how, like who makes the decisions financially. I think that's,
Part of the
there's so much
submissive.
more to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just because you love to take care of your man, does that make you a submissive wife? I guess is the
Does it?
question.
Yeah, that is the
Yeah.
question then.
Is it?
Some
Does
people
it?
Don't we all love our man and we do things for them? I mean, I
no,
think that
sorry, Kaka, go ahead.
Go.
no, I'm just saying, I think that we generally do all of that stuff. Like it's part of showing that you care for someone, which is packing their lunches and making sure that they get the stuff that they enjoy throughout the day. Like if my husband likes a certain sweet, I'll make sure I'll grab that. Like that's all part of showing love to your partner, is thinking of things that they enjoy and that they bring a smile to their face. So I don't call that submissive because I do that stuff. I mean, I wash the clothes, I pack the food, I shop for this, I do all of these things that my husband would love. But does that mean that I'm submissive because I'm doing that? And I don't think so, because to me, submission is an agreement. It honestly is. It's an agreement between two people that one will be the leader of the relationship and the other person will always have an impact. There's a safe way to be submissive and there's a non-safe of being submissive, and that has to be discussed as well, because your mental health and your well-being has to be adjusted into this agreement. There's a lot that goes into submission. There's not only the household, but there's the sexual parts and all of that. So it's not like everyday thing that you do as a wife. It's more than that. My
Yeah,
belief.
and then the other thing too, you kind of brought up there's a safe, like the safety part of it and like the potential
Risks.
of being submissive. It has to be a choice. Like you have to choose to
Mm.
be submissive. So it should always be in a healthy relationship. Once abuse, dictatorship, like not caring, not listening, once those things come into play, it's not a submissive relationship anymore because
It's
you're not
not?
willing. No, you're not
No,
willingly
But what
choosing to
if
submit.
okay, but what if
That's
you're
an
not
abusive relationship.
willingly or just was raised to be a submissive wife? Okay, I guess that becomes abusive then.
That's what I'm
Abusive
saying.
relation
Like, I
okay.
wanna make it
Because
clear
like
that we're not talking about out of lack of choice in the situation. Like you have to
Mm,
choose. Submission has to be a choice. When there's no choice, then you're now a slave, you're now a servant, you're
mhm,
a you know what I mean? Like
mhm.
there's abuse there. If you're not choosing, that's abuse. That's
Abusive partner, yep.
completely different from what we're talking about. It has to be a choice to be submissive. And then there's the other thing too, where can a man be submissive? And how do you feel about that type of relationship?
Yeah, I think it can definitely go either
Either
way.
way.
We have some
Okay, so
more
now
to say.
do you guys want to get personal and talk about, do you feel your relationship is a submissive one, an equal one? Are you the submissive one? Is he the submissive one? Like, what do you guys?
Hmm.
How would you say is your relationship?
There's no submission.
Ooh. No,
Claudia's like, well,
There's
when
there's
you
a
got two
marriage.
fire signs,
We have the ultimate goal, and we go through the process of talking and go with that. But it's what do we agree on? Sometimes one has to bend the other way and be like, okay, that makes more sense to go that way than my way. So let's do it your way. Let's try it your way. There's an agreement in between certain conversations, but there's no like
but
you handle this and that's it.
when are there things that you say like I make the decision, and are there things where only he makes the decision, or do you always collaborate on the decision?
I guess
Some
that's
things.
sorry. No,
Okay.
for me, like, this is where I get stuck. Like, I don't want the term submissive wife to be so much like attached to decision making, more to a giving and taking aspect of the relationship. Like, yeah, love, attention, sex, things like that.
But how does
Versus,
decision making
for
not
example, like I
be
don't wanna
involved in
say
that?
like a submissive wife has to be a wife, like, if your husband says you're not going to work, then you're not going to work because you're a submissive wife.
Well,
I'm
You know what
not
I mean?
saying that you don't have a say. You always
Uh-huh.
have a say because it's a relationship. You guys are relating with each other. So, yes, you discuss it. But ultimately, when a decision has to be made,
Mhm.
he's the one that's going to decide how
Or
to
the
move forward
submissive
with that.
partner. Mhm.
He's the one, the submissive, no, the
No, the
dominant partner,
dominant.
yeah, is the one that's going to decide how to move that relationship forward. Because part of being submissive is to be under that person's authority. So the
Mhm.
authority is always the person that makes the decisions. That's why I'm saying, like, when you submit, you're basically giving up your power to direct the relationship. You're there to please, you're there to see that your goals come to fruition. You know what I mean? Like you're doing what you do because you believe in their vision. Well, no, the vision that you guys came to together, but he's ultimately the one leading it. Decision
Mhm.
making is what moves you forward. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But I
No,
don't
I'm
understand
listening.
how you see it from a give and take. I think all relationships
A give and take.
are give and take. Even with the child, with the parent, everything is give and take. If someone's giving, the other person's taking. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
he's giving money into the relationship. He's giving um whatever men give
Security.
to the security,
Yeah.
protection, uh whatever. He's giving that, you're taking that too.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't think that, to me, I don't think
Okay.
giving and taking is what submission and
Yeah.
dominating
Yes.
is.
Okay, well, then I'm gonna stick to being a submissive wife is to willingly give that person control over
Okay, yeah.
some decisions.
It has to be all.
It cannot be all. It doesn't
It
have
has
No,
to
to
be
be
all.
all.
I can be part-time
she
submissive
wants to be
wife.
part-time submissive. I
Okay,
love it.
and then that brings
That's a
up the
conversation.
topic of, if
Or
you're
not even
part-time submissive,
part-time, but
is he
like
part-time submissive in other things where you're the one that takes control over those
so like
things?
maybe not part-time, but like how do you say it?
Certain things.
Task-wise. Mhm.
Right. So
Certain
going
things.
back to my question, when you think to your personal relationship, is it a partnership in terms of I definitely lead in these areas and he leads in those areas?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Or, the submissive part comes in, and which one is the submissive one, which one's the dominant one?
so. It's a partnership, and yes, like you say, communication, but sticking to the submissive wife, right? We all know it takes a lot of work to be a submissive wife.
No one's saying it
but
doesn't.
it has to be something done willingly, obviously,
Mhm.
and it cannot just be done for any
Without a
man,
common goal.
or
Yes.
for either for any man. You know what I mean? So it has to be that. What? No, again, but that's it. When you're going like this, thinking because some men are not worthy of submissive women, but they
They
live with
demand it. They want it. They want their women to be
or they're
submissive, but they're not worthy of it, like you
blessed with a
said.
submissive wife
There you
that was
go.
raised that way as well, right?
Raised to
It's
be a submissive wife, but she doesn't have the discernment to know which man to be submissive to. There's
correct
a
because
lot of
she's
women in that
married.
situation.
Exactly. So I think you said let's get personal and ask each other what type of wife you consider, or can you ever see yourself being a submissive wife? Me personally, yes, I have a tendency that I will let go control or give up on things in order to have a
For the greater
happier
good.
ending. Yeah, and get back what I kind of want better. Because sometimes, like, I want to do things my certain way, but I know that if I go do it my way, my husband's not going to agree, and or he's not going to want to do it. Then I'm not going to get what I wanted. So might as well submit to certain things to be able to the end result be something that you both want. Doesn't make any sense. I'm confusing you,
No,
Maya.
no, you make sense. But I'm trying to decide if I agree with that. In my mind, I'm trying to
For example,
decide
I
if
want to
I
go
agree
on
with that.
vacation to Brazil. I want the North Brazil. He wants the South Brazil, or else he's not going to Brazil. But I
Mhm.
want him to go to Brazil, so I'm just going to go to South Brazil. That's easy, but to me, it's
Right, that's a good
submission
example.
to just get to get what I want. You know,
Ultimately, it's not 100% what you want. So you're willing to give
correct.
him 100% of what you want and only take 90%.
I'm willing to be a submissive wife as long as I can kind of get what I want.
But you're not
Yes.
getting what you want. You're
You're
just going
not
to
getting,
Oh,
Brazil.
I
yes.
am. I went to Brazil. I got what I wanted. I
No,
just
Okay,
want.
so
but
where you
what
go
you
doesn't
want,
matter.
what you want is the north of Brazil. But
What I
because you're a
prefer.
submissive
So
wife,
you know what? You always have your preferences and what you want and your desires, but sometimes you have to submit
Compromise.
right. No, I get it. I
to
get it.
get at least to make something happen,
So
you
when I
know?
hear you say that, I feel like you have more submissive tendencies than I do
Mhm.
because
Oh, you didn't have to hear me say that. From the beginning of this conversation, you could see who's flowy here and who's
no, I mean,
fiery here.
Damn, Diane, she just threw you out there.
no, I mean,
It's how
I
we're
said it.
born. It's
True,
characteristics.
but again, I sometimes I wish I could be more submissive than
No, you're lying.
No, it's true. I'm sure
it
she
is
probably wish she
true.
could, but it's not in her gut.
No, it's not just that. It's okay. I don't want this to sound bad. I don't want this to sound like my husband is not worthy of a submissive wife. And maybe if I really like talk it out and think it out, maybe I am a submissive wife. I don't know. But yes, we have common goals and we do have discussions about how we're going to reach those goals. But I will stand my ground. Like you, Vanilla, like you said,
Make it to
you
Brazil
would
is
just
okay if we don't go to
right.
North or
But to me,
whatever. Yeah.
I'm like,
No.
no, then I'm not going to Brazil.
Oh,
I've already been to Brazil. Then I would
oh.
be like, we're going somewhere else.
Mhm.
We're gonna go somewhere else that neither of us has gone. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Well, yeah.
will
Well, I'm saying when it comes to really submitting, because the goal is Brazil. The difference
see
was
you're
where in
watering down
Brazil.
your desires to meet his,
Exactly. So part
which
of
I
being a
will not do.
submissive wife means watering. There's a lot of
I
things
don't
that
think
can
so.
make
I
you a
Claudius died.
how to be like,
Diane.
there's a lot of things that we can do to be more of a submissive wife. And to be a submissive wife, whether you want to or not, you're going to water down some of your needs. You are. Maybe you said you might have the tendency because there's decisions that has to be made. You guys talk it
Mhm,
over and you're like, you know what, fine. Or we're gonna buy this today. Talk it over. Okay, fine. We'll buy it next week, next
mhm,
month. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So
Yeah.
in a way, that's submitting. Am I more of a
Yes.
tendency than my husband to be the
So-
submission wife? I believe so. Yeah, that's my answer. Claudia's turn.
What? Me, I think
Naya's
I already
question.
answered that.
you guys are
You did.
50-50. There's no submission on either part.
I don't
Hmm.
think so.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yes, that's what she
There's a
said.
lot more. I mean, there's compromise, of course. but I don't consider it submission. I think it's just a compromise of understanding different
But
opinions
digging
and
deep, Claudia, digging deep when it comes to like, fine.
Who
Or
says
again,
fine the most?
I always, yeah, who says fine? No, but I always think submission needs to be something willing and something that you want to do or capable of
Right.
doing. But because I know what Kate was saying, like, well, making decisions, but really just to be more submissive. Like, you, who takes more care of who? That makes you more submissive, I believe, than the other person, right? Your husband does not
But
like
how do
reheated
you
food.
define
So do
take
you
care
cook
of
his food
who?
every day? Or you say, nah, you don't like reheated food, then go learn how to cook. You know what I mean?
no,
Or do you say, you know what, I'm gonna be that submissive wife and see that he doesn't enjoy reheated food. So he likes a freshly cooked meal every day. You can compromise, like you say, it won't be every day, but it could be every other day. Or you can say, you know what, no worries. I love to cook. I will do it every day.
no. I could
You
do that. I could definitely do that. I think I have it in me. I do. There is that sweet person in me that submits to other people's desires. So I would, like Naia said, I probably do it. I don't know, and because we're so fiery and we're just blah, we just say what we have to say, and this is it. And you have to convince me that this way is better, and my way is not going to work. That kind of thing. But I think I'm understandable to certain things. I do submit to, like, okay, this works. Like if he told me, I need you to be home, focus on this and this and this and that, which things that benefit me, I'm gonna be like, I can do that.
Well,
You know
that's
what I'm
being
saying? I could do
submissive.
that. It's gonna benefit me and you in the future. Same thing with him. Like, you want me to do this more because it's gonna benefit us in the future for you to continue doing this and this and that. I'm willing to do more to make sure that our future is moving forward. So, like, I don't know if you call that submissive. I know it's called.
It is submissive
There's
because
many layers of
you're
submission.
right. Okay, so let's take it back to what type of husband do we feel is worthy of a submissive wife?
A man who has his life together. A man who's
What does that mean?
like a man who has a job, brings home the paper, a man who has his life in check. Not a guy who still doesn't know about the future or just wants to have babies and conforms and to what he has right now is like
Does he have to be goal oriented, or can he just be content with how life is now
No,
and
I
not
think he
no.
desire
has to be
anymore?
Well,
goal
for
oriented.
me, I will be a submissive wife if you have goals for the future and you're constantly knowing that it has to be moving and growing. If you're just
Yep.
content, we're getting a divorce. You know what I mean? No, if you're really like, oh, but we're fine here. Oh, but I go to work. But don't you still want to get like a better education so you can get a better job? But we're fine. Like, no, I'm not submitting to any man like that. I will be willing to submit to a man who I know thrives for something bigger, wants more, pushes me, motivates me. And
But what if he
obviously,
does all that? Like he motivates you, he pushes you to be better, he encourages you to do everything you need. But what if he is personally happy with his job? He's happy with his hobbies, he's happy with his friends, he's happy with you, he's happy with his children. Like he's happy with the life he has right now
mhm.
because he's not seeking further education, because he's not looking at making more money, you're gonna say, no,
No,
I'm
no,
good
no,
with
no.
this
Like that's
relationship.
why I said I want him to know he has his life together. Because some guys have their lives together and others don't. Others go to work 9 to 5 and they like, I want this, but they don't work for it, or they don't have a plan for the future. They don't have an idea of what being in a relationship is, or easy. They don't know how to love you back. Couldn't be submissive to a man like that. You know what I mean?
Right, like you can't be fulfilling all his desires and then your needs are not being met
And at the same time, probably ignores his own needs. So no.
because you're taking care of his needs, so he doesn't
Correct.
have to worry about it.
Um,
Right?
so there's a lot of qualities for a man that deserves. That's the what when
Yeah,
what kind of man
submissive wife.
deserves. So
Because to have somebody
that was
follow
one.
you and basically, in a sense, give up their autonomy to make decisions to follow your lead. Like you said, you have to be in a place that you
Take care
can
of your
lead
needs.
me.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I don't mind cooking for you, cleaning for you, if I know that you can do those things for yourself as well,
Mhm.
or that
And that I'm allowed to take my own lead to different things. Like submit to your desires and wishes and wants does not mean neglecting my goals, or does not mean I can't have my own plan for the future or have my own dreams. I separate that very well. You can damn well be a submissive wife that takes damn good care of your man and still be that hardworking
But do
woman
you
that do what you
believe
want.
do you believe that it's possible to work on growing a successful marriage unit and grow yourself personally in your career and your hobbies and your desires while growing your marriage? Do you think you can do both those things? And do you think you can do them equally well?
I think it's important to do both those things equally well. Is, if you put 100 into one and you can put 100 into the other one, that's fine. But if you have to divide your time, if you feel like,
You have to
oh,
divide your time because you can't give up.
but
You know what I'm saying?
but then you got to put it in your mind that if instead of 3 times a week working on your personal
Passion.
business is all you have to allocate to that, you have to be content and accept it, because the other,
Then you're
you
not
know,
giving your all to your personal needs because you have part of you that has partner needs. So
correct.
you're
So
not
you
giving your all to both. Do you think
still
that's
does
fair?
no. So your question was, can you be submissive if you can't give your all to your man,
No,
to
to
the
to
husband?
both. Can you dedicate 100% to both? But you can't. You got to give either fifty
But
fifty, or
Cindy,
you give more to one than the other.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. To me, you got to come again. You got to come and figure out for yourself
I think, but
how
I think,
much you can give. Like if
mhm.
first of all, if I have a man who is demanding of me, like very demanding, that's not considered me being submissive, because unless I do
Right,
everything,
we're
that's
getting
the
into the abusive.
yes.
But my thing is, there has to, what you're saying is in a perfect world. I'm
Mm,
able to grow myself and do my
mhm.
things and still, my no, real life doesn't work that way
But that's what
because
we
there
do now. That's what I do today. I grow my life, I do my life, and I take care of my husband and my family.
well, then you are the epitome of a
No,
wife
and
in
I
person
know, I
because
know
I
the
know
same with
that.
you too.
Right, but I can honestly say that my marriage does suffer when I dedicate more time to the things that personally grow me, and my personal self and growth does suffer when I'm focused more on my marriage. There is no, I don't believe in
Mhm.
like there's a
But
balance.
where,
I
if
feel
you don't
like
believe there's a
there's
balance, where are you picking the suffering? Why do you say why you
okay,
say
I'm
suffer? Because
saying
you
it
set
wrong. I'm
goals.
saying I'm not saying suffer. Okay, I'm saying there's only certain amount of energy that I have.
Mhm.
To be a healthy person, there's only so much energy that I can give. And if I'm giving a lot of my energy into my marriage, then that's energy I'm not giving to my personal self. Because remember, we're nurturing ourselves and we're nurturing our marriage, right?
Mhm.
So there's going to be times where my marriage will not be getting the amount of energy that I could be giving it had I not been focused on my own personal things. But when you're a submissive wife, your focus has to be on the marriage. The marriage has to be priority. So when there comes a time where you have to choose, do I spend this next hour doing my thing or doing this thing that's going to further my marriage? As a submissive wife, you have to choose the marriage, is my idea of being submissive.
Okay.
If you're not doing that, then you're not being submissive, because as a submissive wife, your ultimate goal is that marriage. That marriage has to come first.
You just have a harsh definition of submissive wife. Like
But then
there's
there are
no,
those people like the girl we were talking about where it
gives her
helps her
joy.
grow, it gives her joy, it gives her happiness to serve him. So maybe those people are the ones that should be submissive, because those of us that find joy outside of the marriage,
Yeah.
it's not going to work. Her joy is in that marriage. Her joy is
It's easier
pleasing
for
him.
someone who,
Right.
okay,
Who submits herself fully to a
who,
marriage.
yeah,
That
but
makes her
this same
happy to
person
take
we're
care
talking
of people.
about is a self-made everything, her own business, her own thing.
But did she do that
In
prior to her marriage or during her marriage? Those
I
are
didn't
so we
don't
got to look
follow
at
her.
that
Maybe I
too.
should follow. Yeah, true. So it
Because
depends.
if
Let's
you
say if you
already
have
came
your
to
own
the
goals.
relationship with your
Hmm.
goals already accomplished, your self is straight, that's
Yeah.
different from a couple who are like me and my husband.
Growing
We
together.
we grew together. We
Hmm.
got together
True.
very, very young, in our careers very, very young in our lives, and we had to focus on ourselves and our marriage at the same time, as opposed to couples who may spend a lot of their adulthood working on themselves and then get to a place where they're happy, content with their personal growth. Not to say you stop growing, but you can slow it down your personal growth and focus more on your marriage. So again, it's going to depend on where you are personally when you get with your soulmate.
Yeah, I guess we can agree that it needs to be a balance, or it can be a balance. And then bottom line is what kind of person you want and what you choose. If you say, no, my long-term personal goals are, like Naya's saying, come before the goals that we made to always have each other's back and take care of one another and do whatever we have to do to get things accomplished, then you're not being so much of a submissive wife, right? Because
I
you're
don't
saying,
say
no,
if you're all the time. You're making a
yeah,
decision to focus on one or the other every moment of your life. Today I may choose myself, but tomorrow I may choose the marriage or my husband, right? I may have to be like, sorry, honey, I can't wash your clothes today because I gotta go record my podcast. You know what I'm saying? But
but
I'll
I'll
wash
wash them tomorrow.
them right. But I'll wash them
That's still a
tomorrow. But
submissive
if
wife.
he's
Or
like,
because you can
no,
say, no, I don't wash your clothes. Like the difference to me is
right.
I can wash your clothes when I can get to it. Yes, sir, right away. Or no, do it yourself. You know what I mean? If we don't cook
um
together, then nobody's eating. If we don't go grocery shopping, then today and
Nobody
then tomorrow's
shopping.
me, then there will be no food in the fridge. So there's that person who knows
Yeah, but
they'll
then
not submit to
I
anything.
think like, okay, if I told my husband I can't wash your clothes today because I have to record my podcast, I'll wash it tomorrow. But then he's like, no, I have no clean underwear. You need to wash my clothes today. So as a
That's why
submissive
he don't
wife,
get no submissive wife.
so that's where my
As a
question
So
submissive
that,
wife,
yeah,
you have to
that's where
choose the
because
you
how
husband.
do
her.
they
Is that what
work?
you're saying?
Huh?
No, I think
As a
that's
submissive wife, you have to choose the husband what he says.
I don't know. That's my question. So would
Yeah.
I, as a submissive wife, say, well, the needs of my husband having clean underwear so he can go to work and provide for our family is more important than me? I have to tell the girl, sorry, I'll record tomorrow because I have to wash my husband's underwear.
For your
yeah,
husband's underwear.
that's a submissive wife.
That's
He
a
gonna be
submissive
so
wife,
mad. Why
right?
you talking about
It
my
is.
underwear?
He's gonna be like, what the heck? Let me just say,
Or you're
my
doing
husband does
everything.
his own laundry. He washes his own
Oh,
underwear, people. I'm
he's
just,
so cute.
this is hypothetical, okay?
Yes.
No. The other day he was in there saying, "Have you seen my underwear?"
I know, right?
Running a tight shift
But
around
yeah,
here.
all right. So
Right.
I gave an idea of what it is to a man who's deserving of a submissive wife. How about
Mhm.
you, Niall? A man who's deserving of a submissive wife.
Provides financially, makes me feel secure,
I said
takes me on
one.
trips.
I said
Just
one,
What do
girl.
one.
you mean?
Just
Well,
wants one.
he
Girl.
he has to have all these qualities.
You want to list them all? I said give one, so Claudia can give
What do you
one.
mean one? Okay, provides
Like
financially. I
one
think we would all agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Financial support is key to being a dominant
Yeah.
husband or whatever.
Yep. And no like 50-50 financial support either. Like, I mean,
No, I'm not working. I will
like if you
gladly
get
submit.
sick, I'll take
Yeah.
care of you.
Right.
I can pay the bills if you can't pay the bills,
Yeah,
things like
that's
that.
different because again, you guys have that common goal. Like if he's the provider, but unfortunately he may fall sick and he cannot work, then you have to step up and he'll tell you if he has the greater good, then you should both know that that's what you need to do as a
Mhm.
submissive wife is you have to go out there and work.
Yeah.
But, that's exception basis. I'm talking about like day to day normal for me to be submissive and the kind of man that deserves a submissive wife is one that of course provides financially but you also have to provide emotionally and I think a lot
Yeah.
of men because they're so masculine they don't know how to provide emotionally and then they get mad when women are not being submissive because if I don't
Correct.
feel emotionally secure in our relationship why am I gonna stroke your ego?
Correct.
Here
Yep.
goes the
And
lion.
seriously, no, like men have to remember, like, oh, I wish my wife would cater to me. You know what I mean? Like, I wish my wife would do this. I wish my wife would do that. But they forget that, first of all, for you to have a submissive wife, you need to understand that it's two-sided. Really, it's not a one-sided relationship, right?
The man still
It's
needs to
two-sided.
give.
Correct.
Like, when you come home, like, give me a hug, give me a kiss, look me in my eyes, ask me how my
Exactly.
day was, and actually be
Mhm.
interested. Even if I'm home all day, know that I'm still working. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, that what I do still provides
Yep.
value. And that's why a lot of women will not become submissive, because these men don't deserve it. They don't know how to do those things, or
Yep.
they weren't taught, or,
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't think they were taught, but anyways, like some men too need to lose the control because that's where kind of, to me, will just
Yeah.
any woman who has that submissive
Tendency.
tendency in her will lose it if she's feels she's being controlled. I think that kills it, you know. And like you said, give me those kisses. Unconditional love is one of probably the most important thing for you to get a submissive wife. If you give a woman unconditional love, she's going to like pour out nothing but unconditional love to you. And it might start to feel like, oh, this woman does everything I want because she loves you. So she tends to be more submissive to your needs and wants and desires because you're pouring that into her as well, you know? Okay, what other man deserves submission love? Submissive wife.
Crickets.
Claudia's turn.
You guys already said what I was going to say. So
Yeah.
definitely the emotional part for me. If you carry that emotional connection, if you give what you will get, you will reciprocate from your partner, like you were saying. Women tend to be able to do the physical stuff. I can take care of myself. Like we said, we're in a world where masculinity is out there. We were able to go out there and put food on a table, take care of a home, be free to do whatever we choose to. But if you come home to someone who is emotionally connected to you and showing you that love, you will give the world to this person, and they might not even know that that you're submitting to them because your heart is so well secured. You know what I'm saying? When your heart is safe, you will give without even questioning. That's why I mean by I will be submissive if my heart is 100% safe. Until then,
Yeah, it's true. And that, yeah, very good.
until
That
Yeah.
means
then, you get half.
show her
You want
love.
it full? Give it all. I'll
Yep,
give you
show
all.
her love. Don't run around cheating. Provide financially. Make sure your life is in order. Because don't no woman want to be submissive to a low life, you know, man.
She didn't have
Yeah.
a low life.
So,
Be
Low
ambitious.
life. Yeah.
Go for your dreams, and be ambitious about her dreams.
mhm.
Include them in yours.
Supportive of her
Yeah,
dream.
like this is ours. We have an overall goal. So the thing is, people get stuck on the overall goal. The
Forget
overall
about
goal is the
themselves.
process in between. The process in between is not the easiest, it's the toughest. It's the roughest road you're gonna do until you get to that goal. But if you get stuck on that vision of the goal, you're never gonna understand the process. And by the time you get to that goal, you alone.
Yeah.
You alone because you missed the whole process of everything, the understanding of the heart, the understanding of the finance. You were just too busy in your own goal. Like, that's it.
Self-centered.
Wrapped up
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
it.
like get out of that. If you get out of that, you get a lot of people in understanding the middle part that is so important. That is the mental piece, the emotional piece is the middle of everything that you've talked to from the day you met to the outcome of what's going to happen. What you do in the middle is what counts. Then you
Mhm.
get your submissive wife.
No, that's good. No, that's good. So I guess
My own opinion.
that was for all our male listeners, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's the key points. What about for the women? What are some key points to be more of a submissive wife?
Oh God.
Again, Naya, I don't mean put yourself below any man.
But
Never.
that's what submission is.
Okay, but this is modern. Claudia straightened it up from the beginning. She goes, this is modern submissive wife, not submission, the literal word, but submissive wife. So if we can open up and say a man who deserves a submissive wife needs this, we have a whole package for him.
Mhm.
So what's the woman's package? Like,
Okay, so
obviously,
for me, if the man is bringing that financial security, then the woman doesn't have to worry about that. I'm serious.
No, that's true. The woman doesn't
You
have
know
to
what I
worry
mean?
about that.
Because
But because it's a package,
right.
what
So the woman is there to, again, help facilitate their overall goals. So if he's going to work, working really hard, then she needs to be working hard in terms of, again, making sure his needs are met, where food, shelter, clothing, all that. Maybe it does mean that she has to be able to take care of the bills, that she has to take care of the
That's true.
kids. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Again, to me, a lot of it comes down to, if you're working outside the home, then I'm working inside the home. But if
Mhm.
we're both working outside the home, then we're both working inside the home.
Yeah. If
So
you're
again, I
providing
don't know if that
financially,
fits.
no, it does. If you provide financially, I'm not wasting your money like crazy.
Right, because
I'm
the submissive
investing it
wife,
right.
right,
I'm
exactly.
buying the best, you know what I mean?
Right. To be a good submissive wife, you have to know how to manage that money. You're not a good
Exactly.
submissive wife if he's out there busting his ass, working, bringing home money, and you're spending it on purses, shoes, and think that that's what you're supposed to do. Because
Yeah.
then again,
Or be
that
like, oh,
is
I take care of him other way, like in the bedroom, and so he gives me the
right.
money. That's not being a submissive wife, because
No,
wife in its own is a
because
strong word. Yeah.
being a submissive wife and being a dominant husband, you're both working towards the same goal. So you still have to work towards that goal as a
Mm-hmm.
submissive wife. And buying yourself material goods is not working towards that goal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're doing everything else and you're moving the relationship forward, but then he's like, okay, babe, here's $2,000 a month that you can spend on yourself. Yeah, that's your money to spend. And you guys come to the agreement that you
Two
have
thousand
that
dollars a
wiggle room.
month. Oh, rich mentality. I need a rich mentality. Two
Why
thousand
don't
dollars a
you
month
have
for you
that?
to spend on yourself. A
Yes,
month.
that's how you have to think.
A month.
Okay.
Should be a week. The hell.
I
Claude,
mean,
okay,
that's a little
let's
excessive.
not
I'm
push
not
it.
a materialistic
Push
person.
it.
Even a month,
So
$2,000. My husband would never see me. I would
you'll
be
be on
You'll
trip.
be
I was just
flying
thinking
gone.
that
everywhere.
too. I'd be like, how many? I was just literally thinking that how many trips can I
How
take
many
with
trips
two
can I get with
thousand
that two
dollars
thousand
A
a month?
dollars?
month.
I would take at least one trip a month. Absolutely.
Of course. Yeah. Okay, Claudia's turn. We're working on the woman's
What
package here.
qualities does the woman need to have to be a submissive wife? She has to be a good cook.
Says who? What if her husband just loves cake? Like, baby, I want you to
Catered
order
food.
food for
Okay,
me
a good
every night.
orderer. Then
You got to be able to pick the good restaurants.
you gotta be able to order good food.
I
Mhm.
mean,
Go pick it up and set it up nice.
Yes, you
Pick the
gotta do
best
all that.
wine to go with it. Remember, it's not about the doing, it's about what makes both of y'all happy.
Yes.
It was so easy listing the guys'
Yeah.
traits, right? We were like,
right?
Claudia's like,
I'm just like, I don't know, like, what else can you bring? I mean, like, the woman, obviously, if the man is
providing.
emotionally available, she also has to be emotionally available.
correct.
You know what
There
I'm
you go.
saying? She can't be causing no damn drama, like
Yeah,
going through
that's
his
good.
phone
You
and
can't
and
be drama,
yeah, you
yeah.
can't be creating emotional insecurities when he's giving you all of your emotional securities. So you
Mhm.
can't counteract that, which women tend to operate on emotions, and we all do. When we all operate on emotions, we do things that we shouldn't. So be a balance. Be that person that they give it to you, you give it back, and you support them in anything they need. You need me to be home and do all of these house cleaning and not stress about anything else. All right, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? You need me to go out there, I got to work this job because you fell through and we need this extra for this. Okay, I can do that. You got to be able to give in any way he is missing. What he's needing, you need to balance that for him because he's
Mhm.
balancing you. I don't know. Guess that makes it a little bit.
Yeah, and I think you brought a good point. Like, you as a woman have to be secure in yourself and not feel like I can't trust him. You have to 110% trust him.
Mhm.
You
Yep,
have to have that.
definitely. And
How about you?
I think along with that too goes, us women right now, we Claudia mentioned earlier that masculine energy comes out because we can do it all. We can take care of everything, right? So I think to be more of a submissive wife is kind of letting that idea go a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, don't put your man down if he's. I mean, if he's
Mhm.
wrong, you want to work with him, but don't just be like, no, you're wrong. My way is right. Because if you want to be a submissive wife, it's not like my way is right. I
I think
guess
what you're trying to say is you have to lean more into your feminine energy. You have to
Yes.
really like rely on that feminine energy because he is being so masculine. Of all the things we listed that the man needs, a lot of it is masculine. Of course, he needs that emotional stability too. So there's a little bit of that feminine
Yep.
quality there. But for the most part, most of his day to day is going to be in that masculine energy. So we have to make sure that we're being very feminine so that when he brings that to us, that masculinity, we're able to balance him out and hold that space for him to confide in us and be comfortable around us too.
Yeah, beautifully said.
What else you got on your list of questions?
On your agenda.
Questions, let's see. No, I think that was really it, like
Yeah.
submissive wife, what kind of man deserves one, and how to be a better one.
So we had a thing here, this whole idea of being a submissive wife. Do we feel like this is a harmful thing for like young girls to aspire to be? Do we think that it can be presented in a positive way? And how do we go about presenting in a positive way? Like,
So first of all, we started correctly by saying, this is not no girlfriend and boyfriend relationship type thing. It's to be a submissive
long
wife, you
term.
have to be a wife. And you can be married to someone and not be that person's quote unquote wife or being treated like a wife. It's just the title. So even when the relationship is like that, it's already toxic in a way. It's already not healthy. It becomes an abusive relationship versus us on, our topic of being a
Willingly
submissive wife,
submissing.
which is something willingly, and not just willingly, but as lovingly as well. Because ain't nobody want to be submissive here to negative stuff or things that hurt you, right? So for the younger generation would be to know that, again, like I said, it's a marriage thing. So don't strive to be a submissive girlfriend, because you should be striving to know what kind of person you are still before you could even start to understand how you'll do in a relationship, But it is, and it's sad because I think a lot, even like younger girls, the ones I talk to, it seems like they think being submissive will just guarantee them that relationship. So they automatically neglect their needs and their desires to keep a relationship, So that's why it can be a little bit triggering in terms of this message, the younger crowd, like you said, the younger ladies listening to it.
Yeah, like my thing is I don't want a young girl to hear the term submissive wife and not know like all the things we talked about, that all the things that need to be in place before you decide to submit. You're not going to just submit to any Joe Schmo. You
Correct.
just Joe Schmo again.
Oh, Joe.
Claudia's neighbor. Yeah, like we need to teach young girls what
self-love is.
Right, like who they are, what
they
their needs are,
deserve.
what their wants are, and pursue their own goals. Pursue their dreams, get themselves in a position where they're happy and comfortable with who they are before looking to grow themselves as a person with a partner. Because if you don't know who you are and you're not on the right path to fulfilling your own personal desires, how do you know what you need from a partner? So I think before we get into that submissive wife message, we need to backtrack and make sure they understand who they are. Like, don't even talk about being no submissive wife if you haven't taken care of yourself yet or taken the time to know who you are yet.
That's right. Especially because in relationship, it's something that has to come out naturally, right? It's expressed mutually and it's voluntary. It's nothing forced.
Yeah, definitely. It's key.
Yep. So voluntary, not doing it to get what you want in terms of like keeping someone, or they'll love me more if I do that for them. Or even your husband now, he won't cheat on me if I cook and clean and bathe and,
Scrub his back.
Yeah, because first of all, he don't deserve it if he goes out and does that. And then second of all, you are not being submissive. You're just lacking in your own
you're trying to fill a void.
Your own essence.
I think it's time to wrap it up, right?
Yep.
Any thriving tips, any takeaways?
Submission. I read this. Submission has to be cultivated and watered. You want me to elaborate more? What do you? I think that means again, like we were just saying, it's it has come from both sides. You have to receive to be able to give, or you can submit when you're getting as well what you desire for you, or know that at the end outcome you're going to be pleased for doing it. You're not going to do something that's going to make you angry, because that's not submissive, modern submissive.
And doing those things actually make you happy.
Exactly.
That part where,
Yep.
yes, you've agreed to be submissive, but it's bringing you joy too.
Yep.
Because again, we talk about this idea of being submissive, but then we don't talk about the day to day. How does my day to day look? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it may sound like a romanticized, like, oh, I'm submissive to my husband, he's so great. But then what is your day to day? Is that really making you happy?
And are you getting your respect? Because if there's no respect, there's no submission. You know what I
No,
mean?
of course not.
And that's the bottom line. So
Okay.
smile, be cheery, love you so you can love your man, your hubby.
That's right.
And yeah, work on your feminine energy, right, Claudia?
Mhm.
No, she
Yeah.
said it. She's like, you got to work on your feminine energy to be able to put that out. That's so true.
Yeah. Us fiery women, that's our challenge.
I'm going to be attracting a submissive husband, though, because I deserve one. Next chat, submissive husband.
Oh, no.
What you mean, no? Tell me you don't want your ass a submissive husband.
No, I do not.
You don't want to be a submissive wife. You don't want a submissive husband. You don't want a
Right.
controlling husband. You don't want. What do you want,
No,
girl?
I
What do
want
you want?
equality. I want
Partnership.
That's what
equality
submissive is.
partnership.
It's equality.
Mhm.
Yes, that's what I want.
So
I want
practice being a submissive wife.
I submit. Not
I do too.
100%, but there are things absolutely I submit on, of course. Again, it's part of compromise.
Yeah, I know.
Give
Submit
and take.
when deserved.
But yeah.
So if you are a listener who is a submissive wife, or totally like, what are these girls talking about? Like, I ain't submitting to no man. My husband knows there's no submission. Please chime in, give us your thriving points. And if you enjoyed our conversation, also send us some messages. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, everyone. Be sure to follow us on social media. I can't do that. You guys got to do that part. Thanks
Just be
for
sure
listening.
to follow us and listen. We appreciate it.
Thank
Ron.
you for doing that, Naya. Follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, all of the platforms that you can listen to us. We are on Apple. Rate us, write a comment. We'd love to hear from you. So anyway, in social media, we're there. So find us. We'd appreciate it.
All right, everyone.
Whoop, whoop.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you back next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.